So this morning we are going to stop Julie and surprise her and read a letter to her about how much it's meant to me to have her as my mentor this past year.
Hey guys, today we're going to go tell Mary how much I appreciate her being my mentor. Let's go get her.
Hi! I wanted to share something with you really quick before we go in. I wanted to take this time to express my gratitude to you. I know that God had a hand in the timing and involvement of you being a part of my spiritual journey. From the initial meeting to have us join the Ridge, I knew that you were going to be a blessing in my life.
I've said this before and I'll say it again, but when I was younger, I always wanted to be your friend, to learn from you. You encouraged me to take a class that gave so much perspective, which then led me to facilitating my own class of giving others perspective. That was a big theme of our time together, perspective.
You walked with me through my grief after losing my mom to brain cancer, and you volunteered your time to sit with Sean and I through a book series that dug deep into our faith.
Thank you for being my mentor. Thank you for having an impact on my life. In turn, you have had an impact on all the lives that I have now touched and will touch in the future. You are a mentor that keeps on giving, a mentor that will never truly know her impact until she gets to heaven and sees it all revealed above.
You had a listening ear when things got tough. You gave sound, wise advice when I felt lost. And you were the motherly figure I needed after losing my mom.
So our mentoring relationship started really when Cheryl reached out, as she always does when somebody reaches out to the church and says, I need a mentor, and she sends it out and she asks us to pray about it. And I had met with Cassie and Sean doing a study for about 6 weeks and loved them and just felt like they were kind of my kids. And so we met, and immediately I knew that the Lord wanted us to keep meeting together, and it's just been the best thing for both of us, really.
I really value the mentorship aspect of it because it really kept me accountable each time that we met up, that we discussed different books that we were going through, and I felt like it was more personable. We had that one-on-one time together, and for me, being a little bit of an introvert, to be able to ask questions that I probably wouldn't ask in a group setting.
So I got to know Paige a little bit because my role here at the church in missions, and Paige, after high school, did a gap year world race. And so after that year, she came back, and I didn't know at the time, but was trying to discern what God had next for her. And so she took a step to fill out a mentoring card online. And when Cheryl asked me to pray about someone to mentor Paige, I was like, well, I kind of selfishly want to do it because I think that we have a lot in common. She's got a heart for missions, and so Cheryl prayed about it and decided that that would be an okay fit. So super excited.
When we officially started mentoring together, we met very consistently and had a book that we went through and did that for probably almost a year. And then life kind of changed and ebbed and flowed, and just over the past 2 to 3 years, that's what mentoring has been. It's been, hey, we haven't talked for a while, let's go sit, or since we work together, Mary, do you have a few minutes? And we kind of just check in and talk like that and see what God's having to say, but not necessarily through a certain study or book.
Mentoring is really different than Bible studies because you are one-on-one. In a Bible study, you've got several other faces around the table, and so you're discussing together and you're really facilitating. But in a mentoring relationship, someone comes to you to be mentored because they want some advice, they want coaching, they want accountability.
I think having a mentor has been beneficial for me, and I think it would be beneficial for anyone that's really feeling maybe a little lost in their spiritual journey.
I would recommend mentoring to someone who hasn't, because you never know what's going to come from that mentorship relationship. You don't know if God's going to lead you down a path that you had never thought about before, or He's just going to keep encouraging you on the path that you're in. And when you have that mentorship, you have consistent check-ins to just see, hey God, am I in the right spot? And you have that accountability to check in with you as well. So it's an adventure that you never know where it's going to take you, but in my experience, it's always filled my cup up.
I'll never forget a message that Mike gave one Sunday, and he said, as a follower of Jesus, you should always have someone mentoring you, and you should always be mentoring someone else. And that really stuck with me. I think it's a beautiful part of discipleship, and I actually think that when you're in a mentoring relationship, you do have just great growth, and you dig deeper, and you're vulnerable, and it creates a bond that you have with another person that goes deeper than just a superficial conversation. So I think that, you know, Paige and I have a connection that will hopefully last the rest of our lives, because we've been down and dirty, digging deep into life together, and it's just a beautiful thing that I will forever treasure.
Being a mentor is so important. It's valuable because you're walking alongside of people and it helps keep you sharp. I think about what Jesus did as he walked alongside his disciples and the time that they had with him just individually and together as a small group. And for a lot of people, being in a big group or a Bible study can be a little bit intimidating, and so it sort of paves the way, I think, for people to be able to, men or women, to be able to ask hard questions, to listen, and the relationship that I have with a lot of young women that I've mentored over the years, and also that my husband and I have with different young people that we've mentored through the years, those relationships just last forever, a long time, and they're very special in our hearts. And so, yeah, I think you grow, they grow. It's really a win-win.